All right, we're live. Hi, everybody. We're on an episode here with the Whiskey Crusaders. We got Brendan here, and we're also going to have Donald join us, the Irish Whiskey Yoda, who's also a huge fan. To let him back in here. Sorry for the delay. We had a miscommunication on the hour of this, but we're all here, and it's all good. And very excited to have him on and talk about his cool products. So, Brendan, you want to take it away and start with your background, all that good stuff, and go the history of everything.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks very much for taking me on, guys. It's a privilege. It really
Absolutely,
is.
presenting it.
Good, guys. But yeah, so I suppose we're Killowen Distillery, so we're Ireland's smallest whiskey distillery, and we've been operating now for a few years, but we're really trying to influence the industry into the right direction. Some of the times that involves leading by example. Sometimes that involves us making whiskey that's opposed to current whiskey legislation. We find ourselves at the wrong end of the authorities at times as well, unfortunately, because of that, and we've been reprimanded as such. Usually because the guys in charge of the monopolies are reporting us.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
God forbid you do anything different. It's terrible.
Yeah. The funny thing about Irish whiskey is it used to be made differently. It wasn't. I know Scotch is famous all across the States now, but see, before Prohibition and even for a while after it, it was Irish whiskey that was the whiskey of choice. And not just Irish whiskey, it was pot still Irish whiskey.
Right.
You guys all know what mash bills are. Over here, people have forgotten. So the Irish brought the mash bills to the States, and the Americans have kept those things alive. But we used to use up to 30% oats.
Yeah, exactly.
In there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're only allowed to use 5. So we're making whiskey, and we're not allowed to call it pot still, even though it's more pot still than it isn't.
Oh, jeez. Well, so you have to just call it whiskey at that point?
Yeah. I think they kill big in rye. That's why they had to call it a rye instead of pot still whiskey, because they used 30% rye in there.
You're right, man. You're right. That's true. That's true. Exactly right. That was because they had made this stuff just before the legislation was enacted, really, which was unfortunate, and who writes this legislation? Who outsources it,
Middleton. Sorry.
We didn't have the resources to do it ourselves in government, so find your favorite monopoly and get them to do it for you. Especially when you're owned by overseas companies,
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, you're right. All the big ones are owned by overseas companies.
They are, Pernod Ricard,
Cuervo, and all that
fun stuff. Suntory.
Yeah, the other one, Surprise.
We all know we're all on the same page then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like with Scotch and stuff. It's like, oh, we can't tell you what's in it. God forbid. Like Compass Box, kind of like you started small and got in tons of trouble for telling everybody what's in their whiskey. It's like, why? You can't recreate it. I don't know. I think it's great you guys tell us everything that's in here. And that you have really cool mash bills and just unique things I've never seen before or heard of, which is just really unique. That it's just everything to the exactly what it is. It's just really cool.
That's what you need to know. Yeah, there's also like those mash bills, like every one of those, as you know, every one of those ingredients creates something different. It's a different flavor. We also like to demonstrate that not just in whiskey but in poaching as well. Poaching's amazing stuff. I think mezcal is going through a really big boom right now around the world, particularly in the States. The relationship that mezcal has with tequila is the relationship between poaching and whiskey. So poaching is whiskey's mummy. That's what poaching is.
Yeah. I'm excited for this for sure.
It kind of tastes like a bit like really good mezcal as well, provided it's made right. There's some crap mezcal out there. There's some crap poaching out there.
Sure.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So did you make this before you ever started making whiskey? Since this is kind of the first thing to do for you guys.
But we still make it. We've got 3 new ones coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Well. Yeah, I made a bunch of different ones, which is very cool. You guys are continuing to do that because that's been around longer than whiskey. Is that correct?
Poaching has been around a lot longer than whiskey. Poaching sort of went underground in 1661 with the formation of excise duty because Irish people weren't allowed to run their own businesses. So you couldn't pay excise if you weren't running your own business, and basically it went underground. Right up until 1997, it became legalized. So again, the guys who wrote the legislation wrote it pretty badly. But you're allowed to age poaching for 10 weeks if you want. But yeah, poaching. We're at a stage now where the small craft distilleries have to take on poaching because, it's like you're a bit like your shiners, over there. The quality poaching makers are starting to go underground a bit now, and maybe they're giving up because it's so easy to buy cheap booze nowadays. So there's no real point in making it, and so we're basically seeing it starting to disappear. But it's still there. It's a living memory, and it still exists. So the handover stage is now, and it's so important that we embrace it and we take it on with a responsibility and with care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you make this different than you make a whiskey? Like as far as like distilling, is it the same or a different process when you make it?
I'd say at most places when they make whiskey, they're churning stuff through the stills, and then you have each other a cask and you leave it in the cask and you let the cask do its work and it comes out tasting good. With poaching, you can't hide any mistakes. It has to be good. So you have to have really slow distillations. We do like 2-week-long fermentations, wild yeast fermentations, wild bacteria, and then we pitch our own yeast in there as well after a few days.
Oh, what kind of yeast do you guys use?
We use a mixture of baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, and distiller's yeast.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Very cool.
It's to finish it off but the wild yeast is definitely in there doing half of the work, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now the people are starting to pick up, so I want to say hi to a few people in here. I know we got John Kranz, we got Pinchster Whiskey. Check out Jim's channel, check out his.
Jim, yeah.
We got Travis Waller, Eric Evanson, Stacy, who is one actually was in contest here with Brendan. She's got her new channel, the 4-Leaf Whiskey. She's in here. So Robert, Donner Pass, Sarah's in here. I know some other people that were here earlier, and hopefully they'll return back. I think some of them are at a tailgate party today, so we'll see if they're still in condition to watch the streamer.
That's true. Yeah.
So who knows? They may show up much later and go, "Oh, yeah, it's here." Hey, Mr. Great Show, good to see you. So good to see everybody here today for this awesome stream. That we're so excited to have Brendan on here with us. There's Marshall with Rough Spirits Collection of Rums, bunch of rums. But check out his channel as well. So right now we're discussing the poutine, which I'm learning a lot about because I've never had anybody talk about it before. This is very good. I really enjoy that. So you said 2 weeks on the fermentation. Then what's usually the next step to make this stuff?
Yeah, it's double distillation. So three myths of Irish whiskey, right? Number one, Irish whiskey is triple distilled. Incorrect. Irish whiskey was triple distilled sometimes, but it was mostly double distilled.
Yep.
The other one is that Irish whiskey is non-smoked and non-peated. Irish whiskey was just as much smoky and peaty as it wasn't. Just so what happens, this actual poaching isn't smoky and isn't peaty.
Okay. Are you guys going to make a peated version at some point?
Yeah, there should be one coming out in the next few weeks.
That's very cool.
Yeah, because Great Northern's kind of revived the whole peated tradition because they're putting out all kinds of peated examples. I've had a couple of them 5-year-old peated whiskeys, and they're very different than Scotch.
Yeah.
But you can tell, like, there's peat. Like, it's a sweeter, cleaner kind of peat.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely is. You're dead right. Lovely stuff coming out of Great Northern. So Great Northern don't release, even just for the listeners, I'm sure they don't release their own liquid, but they supply the industry. And then a lot of people can do wonderful creative things with the vast array of liquids.
Surprise, John Teeling, right?
Eastone Cooley as well.
Yeah,
he sold it. No Cooley is sold to the Irish market at all. It's all sold to the
really.
Japan. Yeah, so you know what you're drinking when you're drinking Japanese whiskey.
It all goes to Cooley. It all goes there. Interesting. I did not know that.
Well, because the only Cooley line they have is Tricano, and I've got a few of them. And then sometimes you'll get like an 80 Rattray independent bottling or something like that. But interesting. Okay.
Good man, Donald. You're on the ball, man.
Oh yeah, that's why we brought him on as our He's our Irish resident Irish whiskey Yoda, as we call him. So he's an expert on it. He's writing a book on Irish whiskey and all that stuff too. So he knows quite a bit. So I figure if anyone wants to talk to an awesome Irish distiller, we'd have him come on so you get a chance to talk to you. So Donner Pass wants to know so are you making your own stuff or sourcing? Are you sourcing or a little combo of both? Or so he'd like to know.
Yeah, we're doing a combination of both. We source and we make our own. But the thing is, we say on a bottle what's on the different size. It says in the bottle distilled in. If it says distilled in GND, it's distilled in Great Northern Distillery.
Yep.
If it says distilled in County Louth, it's distilled in Cooley. If it says County Antrim, it's Bushmills.
Bushmills, yeah.
So
that's cool.
The thing is, you can't get Cooley anymore and you can't get Bush anymore. So we struggle to get these things. We blend them together so they're completely unique. Nobody else has done the sort of blends that we have, and then we finish them in funky casks. But
Okay.
that empowerment of the consumer was very important to us. So we're basically trailblazers in the industry, shaming the industry.
I wish everybody would do this. It's like, God forbid you tell anybody where it's made at.
Yeah.
Especially whiskey anoraks like ourselves, who could tell straight away if we tasted and stuff.
Right. I mean, if you had enough whiskey, you could pretty much, like you said off the bat, what distillery that stuff came from.
Exactly.
Just put it on there. It's not going to hurt anything to say, hey, it was made here. I don't understand why they're so horribly opposed to doing that.
Yeah, the whole NDA thing is just beyond stupid. And no other food are you going to have, people actively telling you, or something that you're going to consume, we can't tell you where it's from. Could you imagine if you went to get a hamburger and they're like, we can't tell you where the beef is from?
It's a shame. Right. And in fact, some of these places in Ireland, they don't even have distilleries. They call themselves distilleries, and they're right, and it's embarrassing,
The whole St. Patrick's thing, and
so it happens, and maybe they've just acquired a distillery recently for making gin or something. But so transparency, that's why we got in the bother, I think, at the start, and then we were forced to remove information from our bottles, and we refused. And eventually the compromise was we have to remove the dates in the back of the bottle of the different distilled components, because that's how geeky we were getting about empowering, the consumer. So that we continued as a protest to scribble this out with a Sharpie. Print the labels every time, keep scribbling.
That's why it's on there? That's hilarious.
So that's what we do. So those bottles some of them can still be found and still be bought maybe, but they're all bought
up. Great.
You can get them on auction sites and stuff, but they're tasty.
Yeah.
Good question, Donna, and bang on, but we're very transparent about it, but we do both. Yeah.
So
that's very cool.
How do you feel about the potential changes to the technical file? Because I think they're long overdue, especially for the single pot still category.
Mm-hmm. So you're right. So we are part of the Irish Whiskey Guild. So that's a new group of distillers, forward-thinking new distillers. And there were only two distilleries who founded this at the start. One was Peter down at Blackwater Distillery, and myself in Killowen Distillery.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we worked together along with independent bottlers, W.D. O'Connell and J.J. Carty. And then a whole lot of other, like Two Stacks Irish Whiskey, are on board now as well. So we've got about 15 members now. Everyone's singing from the same thing. And we've campaigned to get it changed. I actually think it might. Everyone thinks it's going to go through. I think it'll be another few years. I think we're going to wait until other big giants, their distillery, their distillate catches up, and then so we're going to have to release our whiskey and just in a few weeks' time now and just call it
whiskey.
Yeah.
But are you allowed to put Irish whiskey or just put whiskey on it?
We can call it Irish whiskey.
You can. Okay. I didn't know if they were just so ridiculous being such jerks to you guys that you can't even put the word Irish on it or something stupid.
Yeah, they are ridiculous, because when you consider the fact that most of the pot stills made historically wouldn't be allowed to be called pot still now. Like there's a whole list. Like I think even the Napog Castle, the 1949.
Yeah.
It's a pot still, but you can't call it a pot still anymore because it falls afoul of the stupid 5% rule. It's crazy.
Well, I think I need you to give me a master class in this stuff. You're on the ball, man. You're on the ball. But all these old recipes. So the one that we make is actually most similar to John's Lane that was made. It used to be an independent distillery, and now it's owned, of course, by I'm not mentioning any names, but. It's basically we're making the most, and we didn't realize this until we found out afterwards, because a brilliant historian, Finan O'Connor, everybody should check out. He found this out first. He's like, you know what, your recipe is actually nearly identical to this one, which is basically the pinnacle of pot still whiskey, and we can't even call ours.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Historically, too, you had different styles of pot still. Some that verved into lighter, some that were heavier and more dense. Yeah. So even now at Middleton, the change between Kevin O'Gorman and Brian Nation, one favored a lighter style of pot still, the other favors a heavier style. So you'll see that change. It's not a blind, like within the category of single pot still, there are different styles.
There are, and there's some beautiful pots that has been made down there.
Yeah.
I think they call it mod pot, trad pot. And,
and then
pot.
they have their special pot and all that.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. The one that we do in Killowen would be a very heavy, thick, viscous whiskey. That idea that they say that Irish whiskey is smooth. Irish whiskey isn't smooth. Irish whiskey is bold, complex, full bodied, gooey stuff, full of spice.
Well, the good stuff is, that's for sure.
But it's very well balanced, It's
very
well
exactly.
Balanced. And that's the aim. And that's what, whenever Killowen stuff comes out now in a couple of weeks, you'll notice if you get some of that, it's gorgeous, It's eating and drinking in it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a good single pot still should have basically all of your grandmother's pie spices in it, and it should be up forward. So,
it should indeed. You're right.
Yeah. So Marshall wants to know is he's not aware of your brand, but that's why we have him on, so you guys can be aware of his brand. That hopefully we'll get to more states. He's in a few states right now, but so we want him in Texas. Obviously, as soon as, of course, this is very small, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. The size of the distillery and everything. Is he wants to know how does it stack up against other options like red breast, green spot in terms of flavor, finish, available, and price? Well, we know, like I said, not quite as available. Price, I'm not sure, because where's you guys pricing at? Point flavor wise, it's definitely in the ballpark, if not better.
Well,
I think it's fabulous.
We don't put anything out that isn't very, very good, and that's the idea.
Yeah, I opened this a few weeks ago when they sent it to us, and it blew my mind how good this stuff was. It's like, holy crap! Even I was like, this thing is 6 years old. I can't imagine when your stuff's a little bit even older. I mean, scary how good this stuff's going to be.
It has to be. It has to be the source stuff on our own produced liquids. They have to be excellent to get out there. So we're only as good as our last bottle. We find that, and because I'm the one tasting the stuff and drinking the stuff, and it can't go out unless it's good, and that's just it. So it shows as well on our releases. So whenever we release stuff at home, it's not uncommon for the stuff to disappear in minutes.
Okay, that's a good problem to have.
And then sometimes whenever we release our core, like the rum and raisin, which you see here, at the start it was disappearing within very short periods of time, but now it still sells out, but it's slower, which is good because that's what we wanted. We never wanted the core to disappear.
Right.
So we ended up having to make bigger batches. So there's 986 bottles in this batch that you guys are tasting at the minute, and it's that's a massive batch for us, So
it's a massive batch, which is awesome that's a massive batch. That it's just cool. Okay, so tell me a little bit, like, when did you guys start in the business, and like the size of the distillery in here? Because I know since you make this one on your two pot stills, tell me a little about those as well.
Yeah, so our stills are amazing because they're flame fed. So we brought back fire underneath stills in Ireland.
Yeah,
so,
really fire.
Awesome. See that burning under the base of the still? It's called the Maillard reaction. So proteins and sugars burn and caramelize.
Okay.
We get this extra dimension of flavor that as humans we've evolved to love. Because we cook foods, we're able to survive longer with them in the past and carry them to greater distances. We don't get food poisoning as easy, things like that. So we've evolved to like cooked foods. That's why we like creme brulees better when they're cooked compared to not being cooked. Even though they have the same food value. So innately as humans, we prefer this burning sensation that comes through in the spirit. So it adds another dimension of a layer of complexity. So again, we're staying away from this madness about triple distilled smoothness. That's nonsense. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, I suppose, so distilled, they're double distilled instead of triple, because that's another myth. And then worm tub condensation. We could use shell and tube condensers, and we would get home after 6 hours. We could play the efficiency game, and just get the job done and get home after 6 hour shifts.
Yeah,
we're using worm tubs. Okay. So we half fill our stills, use worm tubs, and it's a bloody long, slow day. So we distill from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. So it's a long day, and it's what we do, and this spirit is good as a result. So there's also, I don't know if any of you guys watching here on it, Stacey's here from the Four Leaf as well. So she's involved in the Killowen cult. So there's a good organization who organized themselves called the Killowen cult with a K, by the way, just if you're looking for it. Mostly it's on Facebook, mostly.
Okay.
But they're a group of hardcore supporters of our brand, and they tend to. We do special releases for them as well, and there's quite a few things in the pipeline for them. And but yeah, they help to disappear our stock when it's released.
Okay, so Travis, I think that answers your question. That's how the olive oil can make it to you. Contact Stacy. I'm sure she can help you out with that.
Indeed.
Yes, he knows. She's in the know.
Yeah, this is good for all of us to know, because I know our people, once they try it here in Texas, will definitely want to get some, and also contact Stacy for some olive oil being shipped around. So,
Yeah.
Okay, then what year did you guys start in business?
We started about 4 to 5 years ago. We set up the business, and so that's why we're sourcing liquid at the same time.
Yeah, it makes sense. Totally. Yeah.
But then our distillate itself is sitting ready now. So we would have released it about 6 months ago, and our boxes have been delayed. We used a local company, but everything's made overseas now.
Yeah.
It's been held up, and the first shipment was held up, and the shipping container was something else, because so we got a new shipment, and it's now held up in England because they're on strike at the minute in the docks.
Oh yeah, right.
There's always something, and then now Monday the English are taking a holiday because their queen died, so that's another.
It's a holiday here too. Yeah,
Brexit doesn't help either, so it's just the times we live in. So it's going to get released as soon as possible. But
it's a holiday here on Monday as well too. So
is that right?
Yeah.
No way.
In Canada,
what? Is that right?
Canada, Australia, New Zealand, it's all a public holiday on Monday.
Way.
And we're like, we don't celebrate that here.
Yeah.
So, we're like, we got rid of that, back in 1776. So
she's on our money, so
yeah. There you go. I think it's optional here.
It's optional,
yeah. In the north.
These are the best poutine I've ever had. This is so good. This is fabulous stuff. It's 48%. So are they all 48%? Or is it just kind of like you should cut? It's just cut to what's good on that run for it every time.
This is cut to 48% because we think this is good as a drinker.
Okay.
And as a cocktail thing as well. If you make an old fashioned with this stuff, it's just fantastic.
But
most of the times we, everything else is 40. It's the lowest we definitely go.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 55 is that whiskey there. That's the lowest we go for our whiskey is 55. Whiskey's going to go below 55. No, our whiskies are always cast strength. You guys were talking earlier on, how does Killowen stack up against the other whiskies? Killowen is rules with its whiskey. No added colour, because it's a nightmare. That their E110A colouring or whatever it is a joke. The caramel, it's the same stuff they put in Coca-Cola. They added the whiskey here in Ireland, and they don't have to disclose it. It's pathetic. It makes me puke. But anyway, and they say it doesn't taste like anything. I don't know. But what we do then is we also put straight from the cask to the bottle. So sometimes you get a tiny little bit of char in every odd bottle because it's just a
good
filtration. Char is
a character.
Yeah, so we try to be, whenever the bottles go to the States, because we don't know if the guys over there will be as forgiving as our friends here. At least we can tell people here to shut up and enjoy its fiber, So we filter it a tiny bit better through a cloth, when it goes out there. But and then the other thing as well, so whenever you don't filter whiskey, and we also don't dilute it, you don't lose flavor. So that means when you guys are sitting drinking a whiskey, you can add a tiny teaspoon or a pipette of water yourself. So you dilute it to the strength you want. You don't just get a company to say, there's 40%. That's the way you're going to drink your whiskey.
Right. Yeah. It's not my favorite at all.
Everyone's got their own way to drink whiskey.
Right. So I'd rather, if I want it to be 40, I want to take it from 55 to 40 if that's what I want to do. At least that's my way, not whatever somebody, because once you get that, it's just lower and lower, and that's pointless.
You can't make it stronger. You can make it weaker at home. So
exactly.
That opportunity.
Your 10-year bonded experimental, they're all at like 55 plus, right?
Yeah. They were big bangers. There's one here that was 55.75. That was the Basque Chocolina cask. It was good.
Yeah, I've had a couple of samples of them, and they're great. The Acacia one is the one that really intrigued me because I've had Acacia finished pot still.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, yeah.
acacia is lively. It's
It
a
is.
lively wood. It's funny because most European oaks would give like clove and cinnamon, whereas that lovely American oak, it gives vanillin, so it's quite mellow, but there's much more spice comes out of the European stuff. But acacia is a different species. It's not oak, but it's very closely related to oak. But this European acacia, it gives notes of lemon, much more velvety, fruity notes, which is brilliant. We've tried around with other woods, and we're just never going to use them. I don't think you can't. Once you step outside of oak and acacia, I think you're in danger.
Because I've had chestnut finished single malt and single pot still. I've had wild cherry wood.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see if I can get my hands on some mulberry wood finished pot still.
It might be good. Yeah. I haven't tried it. The other two I thought were a bit varnishy.
The cherry one is a bit funky that way.
Yeah, cherry was weird.
Cherry's very aggressive. I tried it at home with my own Poitin as well before I started before I was a distillery, and it was just far too aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can innovate in Irish whiskey and play around with the different wood types, as opposed to just being told oak. We all know oak is the best material for aging whiskey. It's why they built ships out of it,
right,
for millennia, because it's watertight, it's great, tight grain.
Yeah.
But let's play around with the finishing at least, for crying out loud, and see what we can come up with. Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you're finishing all there in your at the distillery, how many barrels do you guys able to hold at a time in that? And since I know you guys are tiny, how many barrels do you hold there?
We probably make about half a cask a week. So
okay.
Yeah.
Really cool. Okay. Wow.
The stuff unfortunately, it's in the next few weeks we'll notice that it'll be what happens to a lot of our whiskey is that it's bought and then it's sold at auction. It's never drank. So the good thing about the Killowen cult is that rule number one of the cult is you open your bloody Killowen and you drink it.
Amen.
Good rule.
For a while they were kicking people out of the cult because they were flipping their bottles, and
don't blame them.
I was like, guys, this is going too far. You're operating like a bloody commune here. So it's good fun. So there are a series of values, so at least they encourage opening. Which is wonderful. Most of the guys open and they share their bottles, and they share. The samples are going all around the world because the cult's international. It's great. And it's created this nice community. So you got Americans, you got Canadians, you got Australians, then you get your Irish, you're everywhere around the world as well. And people from Sweden and all as well. It's great, and Norway. So you got this lovely just interaction of people.
Cool.
Plus, so some of the independent bottlings we've done as well recently was a Tasmanian cask. So we got two casks, a cask of Tasmanian rye and oat from our favourite distillery outside of Ireland, which would be Belgrove Distillery. And we ended up, we finished their whiskies and we sent them out to the market as well. So gorgeous stuff, So they sold out as well, but we're putting out rum and raisin as well of those. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Do you know what? I suppose we haven't talked about the rum and raisin yet.
We haven't talked about it yet. I got a quick question about your rum, and then we'll switch to that because Marshall's a rum guy. He wants to know how old is the Solera cask your rum comes from, and what cask are you using for that?
Good man, Marshall. Right. So the Solera system is really interesting. So what we do, it goes through a series. First of all, it sits in 5. We fill 5 rum firkins, or 5 firkins that were ex-bourbon casks. So they're only 50-litre casks. Then we empty those all, because that's what's taken out of the bottom of the system when it's moving on through. So first of all, it goes into Pinot Noir, or it goes into heavily charred Cabernet Sauvignon cask. Okay. And then it goes into a Chocolina cask in the Basque country that just happens to be there. And then it goes into a PX sherry cask, so Pedro Gamade sherry. And it moves its way, and it's sitting in there the whole time at the bottom. So there's always stuff in there from the very beginning. Cool. It moves from one cask down into the next then, whenever. So we take out from the bottom, and then we start to backwards fill. So we don't completely empty. We only ever half empty the cask at the bottom, and then we work back. So it's a lovely system to work through, But we've released 3 rums so far. We released one last week, which is gorgeous. And the second one we released, we actually took it out of the cask and we done an extra finish just for fun, and we put it into one of our peated whiskey casks. So we created the world's first peated rum, which is gorgeous.
Yeah,
and just lovely peaty smoky.
Are
rum.
those cask strength the rums you're putting out?
Oh yeah.
I need to see if we can get a hold of some of this. That sounds awesome.
And it's just full on molasses, and every we donated £1 for every bottle sold. £1 goes to charity.
Matt, I'll be back in a minute. I have a jihadi invasion happening.
I understand.
Good stuff. What state is Donald in?
He is in Canada, in Ontario.
Ontario, very good.
Yeah, so he's also waiting patiently for it to arrive there. So
yeah. The LCBO is such a tricky bunch, though.
That's what we've heard.
So we're in Alberta. So if anybody in Canada,
okay, they're in Alberta. Okay, well, I know we have friends in Alberta. Maybe he can get a friend in Alberta to go.
It's like the Wild West. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah. Okay, and then now is 500 milliliters the standard thing you guys do, or 50 CLs, or are you guys going to go to bigger 70 at some point?
Our Poitin that's going out next we're going to release a new Poitin that's going to be 47%, and it's going to be at 70 CL. So the idea being, if you get whiskey at 70 CLs, they're normally not cask strength. So we can't produce enough whiskey. So cask strength, smaller batch. If you add water to it, it's 70 CL anyway. So
yeah.
I'm not going to give you 700 milliliters of ruined whiskey.
Yeah, really. I don't blame you. Yeah, no, this smells lovely. It reminds me of all the amazing things I love about really good Irish whiskey is, those tropical fruits that I just absolutely adore. That like the first thing I look for a really good whiskey for me from Ireland is tropical fruit, and this has it in spades, an insane amount of it. It's just beautiful. So how do you make this wonderful, delectable whiskey? This is awesome.
Oh, right. So basically, this one here was sourced.
Okay.
All right. And we're very transparent about that. So this one that we're particularly talking about right now. So you basically we've got whiskey from Great Northern Distillery, and it was a 5-year-old when we got it.
Okay.
Single malt, which is gorgeous. It was really is lovely stuff. Double distilled single malt. And so they do triple distilled as well. So it's harder to get the double distilled stuff. And then we put it into two casks for the greater part of a year. And we realized then it was 6-year-old, and we're like, God, we had to call it 6-year-old, so we had to dump our last labels.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
And so this 6-year-old, we put it into PX sherry casks. PX sherry tastes like Christmas pudding. It just tastes like raisins and Christmas pudding. And then we also put it into those rum casks that I was talking about. So those firkins at the start, that's what we always put our whiskey into and take it out again. So the firkins are great. So rum firkins and PX sherry, which tastes like raisins, is the way. And then we vat it back together, and then we bottle it. So it's called rum and raisin. So yeah, Killowen rum and raisin is tasty stuff. So you get those lovely notes of that whiskey, which, there's the nuttiness and the fruitiness that comes with the whiskey. Yeah. Then you get that molasses and tropical apricots and the coconuts in there. And then you get those raisins and figs. So it delivers in the nose, it delivers in the palate, and it delivers in the finish.
How do you do this in 6 years? That's amazing what you've done with it. Such a young whiskey to be so freaking good. Like, it's stupid, ridiculously good.
Thanks so much for the kind words.
I mean, this is phenomenal stuff. I can't say enough good things of how much I like this. It's like I had to keep it away from myself before this stream before I drank the damn thing. So it locked. I'm like, I cannot drink this whiskey. It will disappear. It is so good.
It's interesting you bring up Christmas pudding with PX, because I often get transported back in time when my great grandmother would make her plum pudding at Christmas.
Yeah, plums as well. That's what,
yeah, PX. Yeah. It some of them just remind me so much of her Christmas plum pudding. It's just like, wow,
unbelievable.
So, yeah.
It's got this like beautiful mulled spice to it as well that I really like coming off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really nice wood spices too.
There is.
Oh, it smells so freaking good. The taste is just unbelievable.
Like an almond as well from the distillate,
Yes, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely put this up for for best new distillery we've tried this year for sure.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, this is going to win some awards. There's no doubt about that.
Unfortunately for me, I have the 4-letter overlords here.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We were just saying that when you nipped the loo. But we are.
I had to go and take care of my cat. She decided, I don't like your Sherlock Holmes books in my way. Swipe, crash. Yeah, great.
For a cat.
Yeah. No, the 4-letter overlords here make it difficult to get things from time to time.
Yeah. Unless you're a Scotch single malt, they don't want to know, which means they're just sitting ducks, and but there's lots of good stuff in Alberta,
There is, I know, and we don't talk about that. It's called Fight Club.
Yes. Do you know the PWS imports guys over there?
I know several people in Alberta, but I'm
because that's where Killowen is anyway.
Yeah, I'm just I know people in Alberta. That's all I'm willing to say.
Brilliant. But so we think that the rum and raisin almost became. I know we invented it, but we just think it's like a cheat almost, And there's a lot of people trying to. Well, we've seen somebody else trying to do something similar now recently at home, but it just seems to be like rum and sherry. Everyone loves sherry casks.
Absolutely.
Most people love rum cask finishes. So if you get your rum and your sherry, it's a winner,
I would say so because I've had, like I said, plenty of both that are separate, but I don't know if I've had any ones that are together like this.
No, because
I can't think of one.
No.
You and I absolutely revile a certain rum cask finish that shall never be named because it's just god awful. And I've had a couple of other rum cask finishes where I thought, meh. The only time I've really, really enjoyed like rum cask finishing is when it's done with heavy peat to balance it out.
There you go.
A lot of the time, I think a lot of distillers, when they do rum cask finishing, they're finding the shittiest rum they can that's loaded with sugar.
Yeah.
And then it sits in the barrel, and then it transfers all that saccharinic, awful, crappy flavor to the whiskey.
You're right. Yeah. It's
so what kind of rum?
Good rum.
What kind of rum are you using for this to finish it in?
So this is our own rum, and we
it's your own rum too. Even better. So it's your own
better.
Rum.
Yeah.
So then you control all the problems that can happen. You control the whole business. It's so much better.
You get fresh casks,
Yeah. We need to definitely see what we get. Now, is your rum available in this club as well? That's over here in the States.
It's it should be. Well, no, the rum itself isn't, but the guys in Alberta managed to get some cases off us. They spoke kindly to us, and we were like,
all right.
We twisted around.
What about your? I know you. We were talking earlier before the show about your gins.
Yeah, the gins.
Your gins look amazing.
It was funny. We couldn't get the gin approved with the TTB. There's a lovely ingredient in it called meadowsweet, and meadowsweet was traditionally used as a source of aspirin, believe it or not.
Yeah, so it's similar to Zabrovka. They can't actually sell their genuine bison grass vodka in the U.S. because it's considered a medical ingredient.
I love that vodka.
There you go. Nothing wrong with a bit of aspirin, it's good for us, and it cures your hangover then before you wake up in the morning. So
yeah, there you go.
It's a pity, but the gins are good fun.
The rhubarb one has me particularly interested.
Yeah, that looks super fun.
Yeah,
rhubarb's gorgeous, and the blackberry as well. They really are nice, and we were thinking because gin's so saturated over here. Yeah, we were thinking, maybe we should probably consider winding down the gin a bit and just focus all of our energy on the whiskey. But just this summer, the gin's just exploded. People keep asking us for more and more.
Yeah. I mean,
we sold out now about 3 times this summer, and we've none left at the minute.
What you're making interesting from your ingredients is a very different gin that we're used to, just the basic, London dry gin, which to me is fine. But I like a more interesting gin that's got more botanicals, just more interesting flavors. Which you guys sounds like right up my alley of really cool stuff to try.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about people that do gin well and use interesting botanicals is that you can create something really, really unique. Like gin is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
You can just add whatever, take away whatever. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite gins is made here in Canada, and it's called Ungava. And they use botanicals from the Arctic, including cloudberries and everything in it. And it's really, really unique.
And it's good because you only need a small amount of botanicals.
Yeah,
it goes
exactly.
so far.
Yeah.
It goes so far because everything's accentuated with the aromas of the spirit. Just because there's no real oil in there from the grain, because it comes from the grain neutral spirit, it relies on the berry, and it just throws those notes back at your nose and your palate. It's gorgeous stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So theoretically, the group could also get these gins. Theoretically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's all I need to know. Theoretically, we can get them. Is all that matters.
Yeah, things can happen, you know.
Okay.
Because
I guess you have a coffee liqueur or something I saw there as well on your website.
Whoa, right. Yeah, it's tough. It's something every so often we do a cask of it. So we get our poitin, which you tasted. We put coffee beans, poitin in a cask, and then we add some sugar as well, and we just let it lie for about a year, and then we take it out. So the problem with Gloria coffee liqueur, we call it Gloria, is it tends to disappear all the time. So at the moment we've got an order in for some more of it, but we don't have any left. So what's out there is out there. There's probably 7 cases out there or something left. But
so do you guys use a specific type of coffee in it, or?
Yeah, it's just ethically sourced Ethiopian beans.
Okay.
Oh. I love sun dried East African coffee. It's just so fruity and lovely.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
It just makes it all the more enjoyable knowing that it's ethically sourced as well.
Indeed. Yep.
Always a plus.
It helps the hangover, you know.
Yeah.
You can just lie in bed the next morning and say, "I was good to people last night." You know?
That's right. What proof do you put that liqueur out at anyway?
20.
20, okay.
So I think liqueurs have to fall between 20 and 23 or something, I think.
Oh, okay.
There's a stipulation for it anyway. I think 20 is right. It's sitting at 20 there. Yeah. Mm. It's great to add to your Irish coffee. Or great
I would imagine so.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Espresso martinis, or just pour it over your ice cream. You know?
Or even use it in making your own homemade Irish cream. A few dashes of it would probably be lovely.
Yeah,
yeah,
it really would. Exactly, it would indeed. That's probably something to look at down the line. Too much is going on right now. But
yeah.
Yeah. So the new pochins we're talking about that are going to, it's funny you mentioned the capture, but all of our, we released pochins before, like the Kuga series, which you can see up above you here. Those 5 little bottles. And they were a massive hit. So this sold, unfortunately, this just disappeared in seconds. It was something.
Dude, you sold it as a package of 5?
Yeah, they were sold as a package of 5. Yeah.
Okay.
5 little individual bottles. They were a big deal, you know.
So what's the difference between each of them?
Every one of them is finished for 10 weeks in a different beer cask from a different part of Ireland.
Oh, very cool.
Traditionally, there used to be 5 parts of Ireland, and they were known as, the Irish language for province was Kuga, which means fifths, even though there only is 4 provinces today. So one of those actually came from that 5th hidden province.
Okay.
You know, so it's great. But that was us bringing poaching to the stage as a premium thing again, and really getting people's confidence behind premium poaching. So a lot of distilleries have followed suit, which is nice to see. But now our next move in November is to bring poaching to the stage as a really fun drink that can be really high quality but a low price point, because some of these things are pretty expensive. So this new one that we're releasing out is named after a poem that was written, tongue in cheek, in the 15th century, or actually, sorry, in the 13th century, by an Irish poet that was living somewhere in Germany, what is now modern day Germany. And it just shows you, the lineage of the culture and things like that. But then there's that real fun side of it. And he wrote a funny poem about his cat, knocking down his books like Donald there.
Yeah. There you go.
So so this drink, these drinks that we're releasing are actually named after a cat, if you like. So it's a bit of fun, and but they're gorgeous, really lively, colourful bottles, and they taste fantastic. But the main thing is they're going to be launched in America in St. Patrick's Day. So
okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, this is like 10 million times better than moonshine.
It's good. Moonshine has its roots in this, and I'm sure the some shiners out there are great as well. Especially those really old-fashioned shines that maybe don't delve so much into corn and stay away from sugar, and they just work with the likes of rye and barley. Those shines, if we're ever looking at.
Yeah, some of those malted corn shines have had a really good.
Yeah, especially
those are nice that are
corns.
Very, they take it to a cave, and we don't talk about where the cave is or how they got to the cave, but all we know is it's really good and it came from the cave. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
they blindfold you to take you there to find it. It's good stuff. God only knows where it is. Don't care. Just know it tastes fantastic. I know
you don't know who they are either.
No, my mom had a friend that's how she got the 3 bottles she brought my mom. They're all fabulous. But yeah, they get to go to blindfolded to a cave to get them. So, it's like,
brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. That's all part of the adventure.
Exactly. It's half the fun of the story. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like this. Is really good. Because I've had some other ones. Who did I have one? Somebody made one. This is way better stuff.
Yeah, I've had a few. I've had a few Poitins. I've had Glendalought's, Feelings, a couple of others. But yeah, this one sounds.
Those ones like really a rabbit in the name or something. I think I've had.
Dead Rabbit, was it?
Maybe it was Dead Rabbit I had.
No, the Dead Rabbit guys, I think they're actually going to start. The Dead Rabbit's the name of a bar in New York. It's supposed to be the best bar. Those guys are actually looking into poaching now, They're actually going to. I'm just going to close the door here. There's a wee baby. And then actually.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
That's your cat there?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard your cat make noise besides knocking shit over.
So the thing the cat keeps opening the door because it knows I want to keep it closed. So
that's hilarious. Well, that's what they do.
Unbelievable. And
cats are evil and needy at the same time.
I don't know why we keep them. I
no.
don't know why. I haven't figured this out yet.
Nope.
So Marshall wants to know what's your opinion on the explosion of Irish whiskey as a category? I'm guessing business is going great.
Yeah. You think it. So business is tough because making whiskey is expensive, especially for the first few years. And so you really need to find your feet. But it's about educating. Luckily, we've got a really, really decent bunch of people known as the Killowen cult who support us and buy our stuff because outside of the cult, it's about educating people. But maybe the people on the ground like ourselves who understand and want to taste it. But then it's the top-down approach. You have to convince an importer in a country, that this is what people want.
Yeah.
I'll be taking this with me to Somalia 3 class since Irish is one of the things we'll be studying, and I guarantee you nobody's had this yet there, so this will be fun to take with me and have everybody try.
Yeah, so, good one.
It's like, guess what? No one's had in this group. This will be good stuff.
And here it only gets better. You see the amount of poachings that we've released. There was one called Stone Soup, which was 10 weeks in a PX cask. It was gorgeous. Then there was another one that was 68%, and it was Balkan. So it was a poaching that was enjoyed by the chieftains, Irish chieftains, like the ruling class, if you like.
Okay.
Way back in the 1600s and 1500s, and we delved into a poem about it from the 1500s. A real fun and cheap poem about. Basically, it was a guy from Dublin, and he took his wife through a merry ramble through the country, and they were really thirsty, and they stopped in a county called Leitrim, and they looked at this guy in a cave, and this guy was sitting outside the cave, and he had goat legs, and he says, "Come on in for a drink," and the wife said, "I don't like the look of that." So it's this hilarious poem written in the old Irish language. And he goes, no, I know how to take care of myself. We'll go in here for a drink. And they emerged from this cave, just like the cave you were talking about. A few days later, absolutely smashed. And they didn't realize, but they get chased out of the cave by 3 ogres. One of them was called Macorca, which means the son of oats. One of them was called Balkan, and the other one had another name to do with poaching. And these 3 poaching ogres chased them the whole way around. And all these horrible things. One of them hit him over the head with a stick. and he landed into a pigsty and turned into a pig and started suckling off a pig. So this is written in Shan Gaelic, the old Irish language, at a time, whenever the whole world was taught that Irish people were backward and our language was backward.
Yeah.
Poitin revival follows on with an Irish language revival and almost like a self-determination as well. But this book, it's so bloody hilarious. Do you know what? The only way you could describe it is, do you ever see the movie For Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is Fear and Loathing in County Leitrim. And at least this Balkan, this drink that hadn't been made in hundreds of years again.
Yeah.
And it's Balkan means a blow to the head, madness to the head, because there's so much oats in there. Oats are full of oil. There's so much oats. There's so much oil. And as a result of all that oil, it takes away the alcohol burn when you drink it.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so, and that's the idea. So whenever you drink two of them, the next thing you know, it blows the head off you. Blow to the head. But, it's so that was another one of the interesting poachings. So if you keep an eye on Killowen, you get these really impressive poachings coming out of the industry, aged for short periods of time, and sometimes aged, sometimes not.
Interesting. Now, are they available in the states you are in? Is the poaching available to buy in those states?
Yeah, we shipped quite a few out to the States. So did our partners. So Irish Malt shipped to the States very well. Irish Whiskey Auctions, if you get them on there. Irish Whiskey Auctions are great for shipping to the States. And our Killowen website, if we ever run them in our shop, which we tend not to, we respect our partners too much. But things are shipped to the States all the time. Get on the Killowen cult. There's a lot of people there. Minnesota, there's a good following up there. There's a lot of guys, and in Delaware as well. And they manage to get bottles over all the time, and then they share them with folks. So the guys in Ohio, oh my God, like the likes of Stacey there as well, and all those crew, they get bottles over there somehow. So there are means and ways.
Yeah, I guarantee if this gets to Texas, this will disappear, because any of our friends that we've introduced to Irish whiskey in general, just like, they only had basic stuff prior, and we give them some of the better stuff. Like, holy shit, this stuff's amazing. I'm like, yeah, I told you it was.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to have to make some calls to Alberta.
Yeah, hopefully it gets to Texas soon, but at least there's ways to get it prior. But once that happens, I'm pretty sure that's going to disappear pretty rapidly once they get a choice of tasting this.
Let's get to Texas,
We're a nice big state. We love our Irish whiskey here. We go through quite a bit of it now. And it's pretty much our channel's fault at this point in this area. If people come to my house and they've tried lots of Irish, it's funny how many have come here and then left and went to the liquor store right after coming so they could go buy some.
Is that right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys able to buy stuff online as well from other states in Texas? Or how does that work?
It's weird. We can't do a lot, but it's funny. We can't do a lot from other states, but occasionally some other European countries you can get stuff. It's very weird. We have a lot of archaic laws in Texas.
Yeah,
but there are ways around them.
Yeah, here no retailer will ship into Canada for good reason. And technically, according to the federal government, it's legal for me to order from other provinces, but according to the provincial governments, I'm not supposed to. So go figure.
Right. Yeah, there's always a contradiction.
Just
absolutely.
But sometimes, we find that we have to ship glass ornaments around the world. And,
absolutely.
Things.
Snow globes.
A lot of guys out there with lovely beards. I've received some lovely bottles of beard oil over the years as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't grow a beard to save my life, but that's great.
Yeah, it's the anti-beard oil. There you go.
I've had some creative labeling done to get some stuff to me, because Canadian border services can be very, very bad.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any plans of making any rye whiskeys at all?
Yeah, we made 100% rye whiskey, and we love rye, but we found that it was just too viscous. We do everything by hand. We mix in. We use old boat paddles. So we use we broke 2 boat paddles making our rye whiskey.
The infamous rye balls, right?
Yeah, the rye balls are horrible.
And then it just drinks water, but they don't become suspended in the water. They just stick like glue. So apparently you're meant to add enzymes, and we don't agree with adding enzymes, because everything we do is natural. But I think we might look at it and do it again. But we made 2 casks of rye whiskey, and they weren't going well. We put them in the Pinot Noir casks first. It was the best spirit we ever made. It was.
Yeah.
So the Pinot Noir cask, the European wood, which is far too spicy, got in and destroyed it and made it far too spicy. So then we put it into American bourbon casks for 2 years since to let it rest out. And then I tasted it about a year ago, and I thought, this still isn't good enough. But there was a where we were approached then by Ian Garrett, a fella here who does charity work, and he said, I want that rye whiskey because it's so precious, and there's only one of them I want for the charity. Can we do it next year? I said, I don't think it's going to be ready, but I agreed that we would do it for charity at a very discounted price. But we tasted it then at the start of the summer, and just at the change of the seasons, it's come around, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is amazing. Yeah. So I was so worried. I thought this stuff's going to be ruined. And I thought it would ruin our reputation because we don't sell bad stuff. But they insisted they wanted it, and I wanted to do something for the charity. So, yeah, it's going out. So the Capuchin charity, it's called a Facebook page to watch out for is Friends of Irish Whiskey as well. Friends of Irish Whiskey. So as well as the Killowen Cult with a K, who's us, Friends of Irish Whiskey. And they're getting, it's exclusive to them, and so if anybody wants a bottle, you can get it off those guys. It's going to be released maybe in the next month or so. So
it's good to know.
Cool. Yeah,
I'd be very interested to see how that tastes. That sounds very fun. Interesting. So how many barrels can you keep at one time on your property that are aging?
Very few, probably about 150.
Okay, it's more than I thought you should get. Okay, so that's not.
Yeah.
So it's about half your distillery now aging stuff, and then equipment, more or less.
Yeah. There's serious shortage of space. Plus, we have to bottle in there, stick our labels on in there.
Yeah, that's true too.
We also have to breathe sometimes as well.
That helps a lot. So, how many employees do you guys have?
There's 4 of us now, which is great. Yeah, so. One lady, she's brilliant. She lives nearby. She helps us with packaging. Then there's a guy there who is a trainee distiller, and another part-time distiller with me. And then Shanda, she's our office manager and distillery manager as well. So she's brilliant. So it's a good team, So another guy's part-time student, So there's 3 full-time and 2 part-times actually. So.
Okay. Cool.
It's a lean team, and we make a hell of a lot of noise for a small team,
Yeah, for real, right? That's fun. So if somebody wanted to visit you, as apparently Whiskey Works Graham would like to visit you, what are the hours to come visit the distillery, or just email you, or come hang out, all that fun stuff?
That's it, yeah. So we do love visitors. Sometimes we can't take visitors, but it seems we always do unless we're busy. We never say no unless there's something else on. But there always is something. A lot of the time there is something else on, but there isn't a day that we don't either have meetings or visitors. And but if you look at our website, you can book tours. There's usually like 2 days a month that we put up for tours, which are great, man. If there's a group of people come, we've got an Ellen Piper that lives on the street, and he plays the Irish Ellen pipes, which are a UNESCO product. Yeah, he's phenomenal, and so those are great.
Cool.
Okay. Donald Rance is asking how we learned to handle rye in Canada. Quite simple. We apologize. And it worked.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Somebody said you can get oat husks in as well, but we don't have oat husks. But,
just apologize. Just go sorry, and then it'll magically work.
There you go. Oh, it's too funny.
Yeah. Somebody said there's Whiskey Works Graham. If you have any quieter days next week, but he wants to call down. Next week, I'm taking my first holidays of the year. So, we're going away for 3 days, going down to County Waterford to hang out, just myself and the wife and the child.
Nice.
So, but maybe the week after, Graham, if you're about, that'll be great.
Let me guess, Violet? Okay.
Violet is unrelenting about the Legos.
Yeah.
You guys have got a really good following here. Like, that's an excellent crowd for Saturday night. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's not bad. Especially for hey, we're going live tomorrow thing, not bad at all. I'm very happy with this. And like I said, people, of course, for watching the replay and all that good stuff too. But yeah, hopefully we can get some bottles, get some of this in front of some people, and have them become just as big fans as I've become here for. Yeah, it's quite tasty stuff. I got no complaints, that's for sure.
Yeah, all of the really samples that I've had have been dynamite. So, I mean, well done.
I just apparently need more so I can try your other things because they all sound amazing. So.
I do have to apologize. I owe you one because I was late for an hour, so I'll get you something nice over. No, I felt terrible. No, it was my fault. I was in my head and my diary said 8, but obviously
it's fine. Don't worry about it. We knew we were gonna have a fun time once you got on. That's all that mattered.
That's it.
Yeah, it was totally worth the wait anyway. So it's all good. Yeah, this stuff's. I'm going to keep drinking some more because it's freaking delicious.
I know I keep tucking into mine as well. You don't realize, and you have to check yourself and like, right, this is 55%.
Yeah,
that's the only problem is you don't realize how high a proof this is. It's like, oh crap,
yeah.
How is this so high proof and you don't taste the proof at all?
And you can really don't be driving or anything like that. Just
yeah.
If you do, just go really fast so nobody catches you.
Yeah,
don't do that.
All right, so I know you mentioned a old fashioned with the Poitin. So when you make your old fashioned with this, what other ingredients do you add to it? Because I wanted to know about that cocktail.
Just simple. I can stir of bitters.
Okay.
2 shakes in, muddle up with sugar or else a tiny bit of sugar syrup, and stir it in, and then shake it on ice. Pour it back over. With one measure of this, pour it over. Very short, stiff drink. Beautiful stuff.
Okay. That sounds good. I can make that.
Sorry. And a little bit of water as well. If you're using sugar, you need to add a little bit of water.
Okay.
A syrup solution, just use that. Just replace your whiskey with this, and it's banging. What we actually like to do, what's a really nice serve with this, is a burnt bit of orange. So you just get your lighter, a cigarette lighter, if you don't have and just burn a slice of orange rind. Drop it in. The burnt orange really, really works well in there. Cherries are very fancy. I don't have cherries about the house, but there's always an orange.
Always an orange. There you go.
Yep.
You ever use like Grand Gala or it was Cointreau or Triple Sec or anything like that with it?
Yeah, those are lovely. Those are great. It's just I don't have a lot of it about. Like most of my bottle space tends to be whiskey, unfortunately, at the moment.
I understand.
Yeah,
completely.
Mine too.
But it's funny, it's like you've got your essentials in your cupboard. You got your ketchup. You got your sugar, you got your Angostura bitters. Just in case you need to put your cornflakes or something,
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to grab a glass. I'll make one of these real quick because it sounds delicious.
Oh, nice one. So,
we might as well. I mean, we got you on. The least we can do is make a cocktail.
Yes.
I'm not going to say no to a fun cocktail because it sounds cool. So Marshall wants to know, what's your other favorite spirit after your own stuff?
Belgrove Distillery. In Tasmania.
Okay, in Tasmania.
Tasmania is a small island off the bottom of Australia. It's part of Australia as well.
Okay.
But Tasmania have got more distilleries per size of their population than anywhere else in the world. So they've got one distillery for every 2,000 people.
Holy shit, that's insane.
Some of the whiskey's shit. Some of it's good, but Belgrove is the best. Belgrove is the most challenging whiskey you'll taste. It doesn't need to be peated, although they do some smoky whiskey. They smoke it with sheep shit from the farm.
Okay. So
like a floky thing with it?
Yeah, except it tastes good. And,
oh god, that's funny.
I've had the floky sheep done reserve. It was okay.
It wasn't
the worst. It wasn't great.
It is good. Yeah. It doesn't taste like shit. Like you think it would.
No,
it doesn't. It tastes smoky and earthy.
Yeah.
But I think Peter's a master. So he's a scientist by trade, and he's a farmer actually. So he studied in sciences. He's a farmer. He's also an artist, an ice sculptor, and a stone sculptor. Okay. And he's a really good farmer. He's a working man, and he's a humble man. And he makes his distillery is the same size as Killowen. It's tiny. And he makes these beautiful whiskies. So we released 2 of his whiskies there a few weeks ago, and they disappeared. We released his rye and his oat, and he came over and visited us, and I was over with him. And, because I lived for a while in Australia for 3 years, and I went down.
Okay.
He's a good lad now. I don't know if I've got his stuff here beside me. Oh, I do. It's unfortunately the ones that are the best are the ones that are very little left in them. So this was us with his stuff there, Belgrove Rye, and it was banging stuff, you know. So it was released at 60.61%. So someone was talking about rye whiskey there now. This is, I think, the world's best rye whiskey. It's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, so I loved it. There's not a great selection of bourbons over here in Ireland. And I was over in the States last November and I got a few bourbons home, but I was really trying to find a bourbon that I enjoyed. I got a couple of bottles of this one, Redemption, High Rye Bourbon. And I don't know if you know this, but this is one that I'm really fond of as a bourbon.
I like that one, especially for the money. It's a really, really good whiskey.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there. You know, maybe it's the whole rye content. I thought it was really good. So that's what I keep drinking as well. Unfortunately, that's all I've got left of it. And what I actually like to do is mix a little bit of like a really peaty Irish whiskey or a really peaty Scotch or something with this. I make my own blends, and I know it's just beautiful stuff.
All right, so this old fashioned is fabulous.
Yeah, so for rye.
Oh, did you just make yourself a
I just made it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So
well done.
Have you had a chance to try any Canadian rye, specifically like cask strength ones? Or do you just not see them over in Ireland?
I would love to try them. I would love to. We don't see any Canadian whiskey over here at all. We get some bourbons, you know, or we get some American stuff. We get like Kings County and Covels and things like that. But
interesting, you get those.
I get them.
They're both good. It's just interesting you get a little bit smaller stuff that's good stuff.
Yeah. I would pick it up and take it home, but I'm not aware of the Canadian industry just yet, and I'd love to. If there's something good over there, tell me who to get, Donald, and I'll buy it.
I would probably, recommend most of the Lot 40 releases if you could get them, because for rye, that's kind of my go-to rye because it's just cheap and plentiful here. The Alberta Premium cask strength is bloody good.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other producers that somehow they've ended up in UK shops and in California, but nowhere else. So one is just down the road from me, Dillon's. They do a yearly cask strength release of about 4 to 6 year old rye, and it is absolutely bonkers. So good.
Well, there you go. Thanks very much. I appreciate your opinion. So I actually might just text you again, because if I had like a sieve, I might send you an email and get those names.
Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna get them. I see. There's all of the Irish people are jumping on now as well. So Dave Cummings, from Water of Life, and he used to write from Malt as well. So Dave's very well respected whiskey writers from this side of the Atlantic. And then there's Conor Lavelle as well. He's just an avid whiskey consumer and salt of the earth gentleman. So
always a plus.
We're getting people tuning in now from our end as well, which is good to see.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's always nice to get new people, interesting people that are that well respected in the industry. Certainly, it's very cool. Yeah, that's an excellent documentary. That for sure. All that good stuff. Yeah, so I guess obviously you I'm sure get Crown over there, like you said, but that's not exactly good Canadian whiskey. Last time it's not bad. It's just not good.
Yeah, David Parks, I agree. From the batch 3.
For
Lot
which
40,
one?
Lot 40, the
I
third
haven't had
cask
that. I
strength.
only had 1 and 2.
Oh, that 12-year rye. Oh, honestly, the first time I had it, I almost fell in a coma. It was so good.
Was that right?
Oh,
wow.
I have to say, that's one of Dr. Don Livermore's masterpieces. That 12-year Lot 40 cask strength.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, that JP Weiser's I finally have to try. That 35, Donald. Spectacular stuff. That and I think I probably tried like 7 or 8 Glen Brettons this time. Oh, so good.
But what I loved about that 35-year JP Weiser's is it reminded me of Earl Grey tea. It had that really, really dark, oily, citrusy. It was just yeah.
Nice one. Isn't it class how whiskey can evoke these emotions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Like, it really is. No, I'm
Are you
looking
getting
forward.
Texas stuff at all up there? Any Texas whiskeys where you guys are, or not really?
In Canada.
No, up in Ireland.
Oh,
then. Do you get stuff?
no, we don't. Not yet.
We
See them online. You know,
we need to find a way to send you a bunch of Texas whiskeys to try. I think you'd enjoy some of them thoroughly.
I think we need to do that.
We get
You
a
can give me
few.
some serious whiskeys.
Okay.
Yeah, we get a few of them here, but the pricing in Canada.
Yeah, your pricing is insane. What costs us, $50-$60 here, costs them like $180. It's
just to pay government wages.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I thought Canada was an open sort of a country, and then you heard about the LCBO. And what
in Ontario? Yeah,
was it set up by the Irish Mafia, and they still own it, or something like?
Well, it was set up by our premier in 1927, Mitchell Hepburn, I believe, and the system has basically been the same ever since. So yeah, almost the mafia.
Yeah. So there's a friendly whiskey business of ours called Two Stacks Irish Whiskey.
I like their stuff.
Two Stacks are great. So Two Stacks was born out of Killowen as well, if you like. So Liam and Shane are co-founders in Killowen, and then brought Two Stacks to the fore with Donald McGlynn. So they've recently just got a contract with LCBO, so their stuff's on the way. So
I've already got a bottle from the LCBO, and it was pretty well priced too.
Yeah, that's the good, because they can go a bit bigger scale now as well. Plus, they also put whiskey in a can this size.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's it.
Great, and the guys are great fun. We're all the same friends.
I guess the highest proof Irish whiskey I've had was 130 proof. That Two Stacks. I was like, it's an interesting mash bill too on that one. That I really like. The mash bill is really interesting. It's good stuff.
Yeah, the guys know what they're doing, and mixed blends, and just being really creative and really exciting with different casks.
I love all this from all you, the smaller you guys. That's just creativity to me is like it's so much important. I don't like drinking the same thing over and over and over. I like a variety in life. It's like it's so nice to see these, especially all these new historical blends you guys are putting together. Just so nice to see the things starting to show up.
Plus, the small businesses like us who actually drink whiskey, they're not going to put out bad whiskey. So it's going to be good, but you just don't know if it's going to be very good or brilliant. And like it's an easy choice to make,
Yeah.
So that's always the ambition. But whenever you're just going to, I don't know, say some idiot who owns a brand just because he's got a lot of money and doesn't understand what whiskey's about, which unfortunately is the case all the time. Yeah. You're just gonna, it's hope.
Yeah, basically, as you said, some idiot, and we won't mention names, but the whiskey's basically only worth toilet bowl cleaner. We'll leave it at that.
I've seen that. I've seen a few bottles fall into the toilet as well, especially after old men were punched in the face and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's plenty of those. What do you call it?
There's a lot of celebrities getting behind whiskies now, isn't there, as well? And no, there is. Yeah. We can't get bloody oats anymore.
Really?
We can get the oats from, like we done today down the lane. But then come to the end of the year, for the last month or so when you run out, we used to get them there. But Bono set up a distillery in Ireland now. And
really?
Fair play to him. Good man, whatever. But the Church of Oak, it's called. So he basically went in and just bought all this guy's oats. And the guy's like, I was like, well, can I have some more oats? Like, no. And he goes, no, I've none left. He goes, Church of Oak bought them all. I was like, oh, shit.
Holy crap. So is he making like 100% oat whiskey at this point then?
I think he's going into they're in fairness to them, they're going into creative mash bills, which is good. But
interesting, because
basically Killowen here, we bloody started this fucking crazy.
Because Koval makes a 100% oat whiskey that's actually very good.
And the guys down at Blackwater, I know, have used a high percentage of oats.
Yeah, exactly.
They're 5-grain pots still.
Blackwater are brilliant. And Blackwater's distiller, John Wilcox, is actually a distiller from the States. He used to work with mixed mash bills. So because they had seen that there was a famine of, distillers who know how to work with mixed mash bills from here. So they basically reached out to the States where, you guys continued the tradition on, and it took John Wilcox over. So there's a nice connection there as well. And plus, Donald, what you're talking about as well, the same thing again. Alex Chasko, who's the distiller in Teeling, he's from Canada.
Yeah.
So there's that love. It's funny, like, we brought our knowledge to the other side of the Atlantic, but a lot of the guys here are relying on bringing the knowledge back, hundreds of years later, which is because there was that continuity there that stopped here, unfortunately. Because if you go to Scotland, you're just interested in single malt, really, and that's it.
And industrial grain, that's it. I mean, Irish single grains basically wipe the floor with Scotch single grains at the ages, because
it's not even close. Like good Scotch single grain, you got to be at least 18 plus.
Yeah, and
whereas Irish, you can do it at 5, and it's fabulous.
Yeah,
indeed. I know the Irish grain is brilliant. The grain that's been pumped out of Killowen Distillery, that unfortunately is all going into Japanese whiskey now, was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then thank you, G&D are making good stuff, So
I loved Green Ore 8-year, but now you can't get it.
Isn't it crazy?
I got that one. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, it's not
forget how good things are at the time, and you just sit and you take it for granted, and then it's gone. You realize.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is having a large selection here is that I thankfully don't drink a lot of stuff, go through them quickly. Like I said, I'll have to hide these again on myself, otherwise I will. Is that I do have some of those, and they were cheap for like $30 back in the day.
Yeah, unbelievable. I know.
Yeah, like I remember you could go and get Michael Collins peated dirt cheap back in the day.
Yeah, that's good stuff too.
Yeah.
Cooley stuff was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You can barely even find Michael Collins beyond the regular one now, and like the old single malt's really nice too. That's back in the day, but you can't find that either. All you can find is the blend, and the new one is not great.
It's like buying a pair of boxer shorts online before Brexit.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need technical stuff. So what is the difference between like an Irish single grain? Because they were saying that the contrast is there, that this technical profile specifications are different. What makes that so different in Ireland compared to Scotland?
I think we have got our protection here for we've got single pot still. And then there's single malt recognized. Over here, we've got single grain as a recognized category, Irish single grain. So it's something people take pride in.
Okay.
But for some reason, it's the same. It's the same process. It's the same process. So the only reason why I think it tastes better is probably effort.
Yeah, I was just going to say
our pride in the category.
Yeah.
And Great Northern are swearing by it. I was down there for a meeting last week. It was a lovely chat with them, and they basically said that Irish single grain is the drink of the future. I said, no, it's not. Poitin is. But we both agreed that the whiskey of the future would be single grain, because everything else has become so, unaffordable. But I think Poitin is going to be the drink of the future. It's going to be a sustainable version of
good one is, for sure. Like yours is fabulous. I mean, like I said, this is the first cocktail I've ever made with this, and this is really good shit. I really hope that this does take off in the States too and sells more Irish in general. Just the Irish Revolution is certainly upon us. That's for sure.
I get you over a series of Poitin samples then. A few Poitin samples, and
I'd love to try them. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to try anything. So that's the good thing about our channel is we try everything under the sun. We're willing to review anything.
Yeah, it's
got alcohol in it. We're willing to review it.
Nice one. Let's do that. Do you know? Especially, we'll tune in again once we launch our new Poitin series in the States. Okay. Do you know this November in Ireland is the first time there's going to be a Poitin festival? So there's all these whiskey lives and whiskey.
Cool.
But there's a Poitin festival in November in Dublin called Poitin Now, and there's still a few tickets available for it. It's only gone on sale, so check it out online. Poitin Now. Any of your followers who fancy coming to Ireland in November? This is when
Irish can go check that out for sure.
Yeah, like this is when all the real whiskey geeks and spirit geeks come together and clash together, and people who really care about spirits.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool.
Because there's two extremes. Okay, there's Poitin and spirit enthusiasm, and then there's douchebag whiskey.
Yeah,
you all know what that is. When you're paying $100 million for something that should be sold for 10. Really old. Like the stuff that people spend over the top for it just as a prestige or a symbol. It's like driving a Ferrari to the shop to get a bottle of milk. It's mental. So this is where the real life stuff's happening. This is where the real creativity is happening. So I'd advise if anybody wants to just get involved with grassroots and figure out what the future of spirits are about, come to Poitin now. It's set up independently by a guy called William Lavelle. He's an artist in Belfast.
Yeah, okay.
In Dublin, Frank. And check it out. Poitin now online. It's going to be. I think it's just going to be where all the best people are. And like all these things, they start off wonderful, and eventually they probably grow into something much bigger, a bigger beast. But now is the time to get involved and get to know these folks. I can't wait. It's going to be the highlight of my year. It's going to be brilliant.
That's really cool. You guys are having. So, how many distilleries will be there approximately at that?
We thought there'd only be about 6. Now there's loads. I think there's about 30, and independent bottlers. Are now jumping in now. They're all getting space. We dubbed 2022. Killowen Distillery dubbed 2022 the year of the Poitin. So Dave, who's on there now, is a whiskey writer. He always writes about Poitins as well. And this festival, it is the final part of the year, and it's the catalyst. And it's not about. We don't expect Poitin to explode this year, but all the precursors are being set as a category going forward. And this is it really coming into itself.
That's cool. It is amazing. I think people really hadn't even heard of it, especially in the States, maybe 3-4 years ago, as even a possibility existed. I've only had like 2 or 3, and like I said, this is way better than the ones I've had before. So yeah, it's really good stuff.
I'm glad you got this.
I can't believe how good this cocktail is. I'm gonna take this to bars and go just sample them at the bars too, and go. You need to get this. This needs to come in.
I hope it's still available. So we're not shipping any more of this out to America. So there's a bit out there at the minute, but we just can't keep up with the production of it. It's we just can't keep up with it. So what we do now is the next one is going to be a different expression of it, which is equally as exciting, but this will still be available in small batches,
Okay.
But, you can still get some. Folsom wines apparently ship all around the USA.
Okay.
Folsom wines are supposed to be brilliant. So I think they're based in California, so they have a good bit of it there. I hope so.
Yeah.
They also have batch 1 rum and raisin. Batch
nice.
Raisin,
yeah,
so
which batch?
it can't be got anymore over here.
Oh yeah, this is batch 5. Okay. Yeah, I can only imagine. It'd be fun to have the whole vertical of 1 through 5 just to see the differences in them.
Yeah, and they are different. They're very different. Some of them were like Cooley stock. Some of them were Great Northern stock. Some of them are a little bit more sherried. Some of them are a little bit more rummed. So all different variations.
So are you going to make I know you make your peated rum cask. Will you make a peated version of this with the rum cask for that one at all?
That's the secret about this one as well. That there's a very, very tiny bit of peated aging in this as well.
Okay.
It sits in there. It just adds complexity, but it's only in there for a short period, so nobody notices the peat. But it adds depth. And,
interesting.
This is something that nobody else is really doing then, so the cat decided to open the door again. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm being pawed right now, so
sounds like your cats are on the same wavelength.
I think so.
I think they're never going to be content until they destroy the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's totally exactly. Cats
someday
destroy the
they
world.
get the codes, and they just press the button.
There's some secret code that transmits through the airwaves, and they all hear it at the same time.
Was it?
Anyway, we're all going to wear, tinfoil hats eventually, just to keep
Yeah, the cats go strap it on. They talk to each other that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's too funny.
Lizards and cats.
That's it.
Oh, fabulous stuff.
I actually worked with a guy who walked into work wearing tinfoil one time.
Oh.
Did he walk out with it as well?
Yes.
Lovely.
So, well, you know what I do for a living.
Oh, I know what you do for. You can tell. I mean, it's up to you.
I look after psychiatric patients. So.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That explains it then. That's.
He's got some great stories. I'll tell you. Heck, your stories on the ride home on the trolley are funny enough as it is.
Oh, some people you run into at 11 o'clock at night on the way home. Just you never know what you're gonna get.
I know, I'm sure. Do they recognize you?
So one of them does, and I actually will, buy him a pack of smokes and give him a Tim Hortons gift card.
Yeah,
from time to time because
Nice.
he knows some of the folks that I work with, and through no fault of his own. I mean, the guy's had 30 years of schizophrenia, but I love it because when he gets onto the streetcar, he just bellows, "Let's talk about Shakespeare." Is it a Davy Crockett hat?
awesome.
And then he'll go on this whole spiel that he is the first president of the Second Republic of the United States and heir to the throne of Russia. And then he'll start quoting Shakespeare.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one. Everybody wants that job.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah.
It's interesting you spoke about, so Marshall mentioned that, Balcones, which is a Texas distillery here, also now Nick came out within the last maybe 2-3 weeks. They have a peated rum as well now.
Oh, good on them. Right, well, there you go. We didn't see any before, so yeah.
I'm sure you guys beat them, but then that would be cool. Like I said, I'll have to get with you guys and see if we can send you a sample of a bunch of Texas whiskey.
Yeah. I would love to.
That'd be
cool. I'd love to send you guys a bunch of really just cool stuff I think you'd like and, enjoy and share with your other fellow Irishmen that come over and hang out with you guys, see what they think.
I think it's an absolute genius idea,
I think Balcones makes at least a good 50 products at this point in time. It's absurd. So it'll be a lot of Balcones, and then of course we've lots of other really good distilleries in as well that are just spectacular things.
Yeah, Andalusia, Iron Root. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, all the distilleries we're good friends with that we could get you their whole lineup to you.
Sounds wonderful. I actually do. Yeah, and we'll flip them back and forth. We definitely will.
I think that'd be fun. Heck, it'd be fun. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if you guys did like a Texas finished, one of your whiskeys finished in some Texas barrels.
If it was
really cool.
Texan wine.
Okay.
Is there Texan wines?
There
is. There's an enormous. In fact, we're now the 5th largest in the United States of Texas wines.
You get it like a sweet wine, a dessert.
Oh
wine
yeah, there's an area. It's about 4.5 hours southwest of me, called Fredericksburg, and they have over 70 different wineries alone just in that area. But near me, where I live in near Grapevine, which is about 30 minutes east of me, they have we actually were there on Thursday at this great fest, and they bring in all these wines. But yeah, they make a bunch of wines around here too. So yeah, wine's a huge thing in Texas.
Yeah,
maybe we should come visit you.
We'd love to have you. We take care of you if you want to come over and hang out. Happy to have you.
Get an education with wine.
Yeah, where I am, the number one wine product is ice wine.
Best.
So that's what made me bring up the Two Stacks crew earlier. So they have
ice wine finish now.
Canadian ice wine finish. Oh,
nice.
Oh wait,
I think it's awesome.
I think that's not released yet. Actually, I think that's going to be a secret. So we're just going to pretend this wasn't said.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. So, no, because I'm about an hour away from the Niagara wine region. So
good.
A lot of ice wines and also Rieslings and things like that. A lot of cold weather grapes, even though, funny enough, it's got its own microclimate being sandwiched between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie.
Oh, right.
Apparently the frost arrives 3 weeks later than the rest of the province. It's
brilliant.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. We have I have friends that are owners of wineries. I guarantee we get them barrels to you that are Texas wineries.
Right. That cool. Sounds wonderful. I'd love to do that. I'm genuinely
get you in contact with all of us on an email, and then we could probably make some really cool stuff happen with some Texas wines and some Irish whiskey. I think that'd be a really fun project.
Yeah. Do you know what I just found out? You were talking about the different Killowen expressions there as well. So there's a website called Irish Whiskey Auctions, and a lot of people use Irish Whiskey Auctions. even for shipping. Sometimes they buy it everywhere else, and then they ship it to Irish Whiskey Auctions, and Irish Whiskey Auctions act as a shipping agent and ship it to all over the States. Phil.
Okay.
So Irish Whiskey Auctions, somebody is selling 30 bottles of Killowen. I didn't even realize of whiskey, so I didn't even realize that we had released it. So it's not even our full collection. There's about 7 missing. So there's 30 bottles of Killowen, our historical range, for auction. If anybody wants to get them, there on Irish Whiskey Auctions. So
Okay.
Just check it out. I don't know what the bids are at the minute, but you might get a good deal. So yeah, check them out. I think it's finishing this weekend, so that means today. We should be finishing today the auction. So
yeah. These are. Yeah, I think that probably be fun. Somebody can pick up that whole collection. They probably have a hell of a collection, that's for sure.
And then you can split it up and share it amongst all your American crew and Canadian crew.
There you go. I think they would definitely do it. All right. So have you ever made any cocktails with your whiskey? Just to wonder. It tastes amazing on its own, but
yeah, again, I don't go past old fashions for whiskey.
all right, I'll make one with it. I don't care. Like I said, that thing with the poutine was fabulous.
Lovely stuff.
I'm making with this too because why not?
Yeah, it's so simple, and it's short and it's a stiff drink. That's where I go.
I don't know. A little while. Chill out, child. Well, you'll get to Lego soon enough. Chill out.
What time is it over in Texas?
It's 3:30 here, so it's the middle of the day. She's fine. She's just high maintenance.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Yep. I'm gonna keep it. I will fill out those forms if you get them in 2 minutes, and I'll also.
Okay. Good luck with that. Good luck with that plan.
That's late.
Violet. At least she isn't screaming right now.
Oh, what somebody just put up? It's all right. That's
€1,600 for
well, I didn't
30
expect
bottles.
that.
Okay.
Well, I suppose. Oh, euros. There you go. It's not too bad.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used them when I had friends living in the U.S. that were commuting back and forth.
Yeah.
And they were great. So now, unfortunately, my friend moved back to Canada, and that route's closed.
Yeah, see, that's no fun.
Oh, sorry about that.
No fun at all. All right, let's see here. Let's make the same cocktail, but with this whiskey instead, and see what we think here.
Yep.
So that's actually working out. So 1,600 that's actually really reasonable. So
yeah,
maybe it'll race up towards the end as it always does, But yeah, it's if you've got it.
No, child, no.
The joys. That's what
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what my cat's up to now. She's like zooming around the place and crashing into things.
But I bet you if you weren't talking to somebody, the cat would be
sleeping. Yeah.
It's just because it's not getting full attention.
Yeah.
In a minute.
That's how they are. They're evil and needy at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough.
What the hell? Oh my god. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, the cat must have done something naughty.
Yeah, more books.
I didn't taste it, just down my lips.
So it's just myself and everybody else. How are we getting on?
Oh.
It's good to have people as well from both sides of the Atlantic, Connor was saying with Fran being a great lad. So Fran's
yeah, it's nice to have all these people from other countries in here too, for sure.
On Temple Bar.
No,
Stop. I don't know, maybe like 20 or so.
I already gave you 20 minutes.
Yeah. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh yeah, it's always something. All right, so I did the same cocktail.
I gave you 20 minutes.
Violet, chill.
I gave you 20 minutes.
What kind of beer do you drink? Somebody goes to drink Guinness. I actually do drink Guinness. There's also another beer over here, which is a dark ale called Smithwick's. When you put a Guinness head on it, it's called a black and tan.
Yeah, I love the black and tans are good.
Black and tan drinks are good. Black and tan drinks are good. Black and tans aren't good.
Stop.
No, I'm not.
And, yeah. Good morning, dog.
Yeah, cats,
Yeah, troublesome wee brats, They really are.
They are. Yep.
But, so somebody was talking about beer. What sort of beer do you drink up there? Is there? I know
Okay.
craft beer is obviously brilliant, but what's like a core one that you would get in Canada?
So I live about maybe 3 or 4 blocks north of a craft brewer here called Mill Street.
Yep.
In Toronto, down in the Distillery district, and they do some really interesting stuff. There's a lot of breweries in Toronto now. It's insane. One of my favorite ones is a English style bitter called Across the Pond from High Park Brewery.
All right, that's a big name.
Yeah. There's just a lot of the like mainstream commercial brands here are crap.
Yeah.
Because basically you drink them to look like Doug and Bob McKenzie and build your Molson muscle, right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
So you could sound like a hoser, and then, pack of smokes here, toque, flannel coat.
Was it
Yeah.
the Alberta Premium Dark or Black Velvet? It sells like, I think, number 2 in the U.S., something crazy like that.
Oh, yeah. Like,
It's terrible stuff. Yeah, if you ever see Black Velvet, you don't need it in your life. Is horrible stuff.
yeah, most mainstream Canadian beers are crap.
Terrible.
And whiskey, too.
Yeah, don't buy those. They will end poorly. You'll be very. I did get, now granted, last year at the Bastards Ball, I did have some college kids help me out. They were very inebriated children at that point. They helped me push my cart full of whiskey back to my room, and like, hey man, can we have something to drink? I'm like, sure. So I gave them a 175 Canadian Mist. They were like,
Oh, my God, that stuff.
which
is
cost
wild.
$10.
Yeah, it's so
They thought
wild.
that was great. They thought it was great. I was giving them a bottle of whiskey. But I'm like, what they don't know is I gave them horrible stuff.
Oh, my God, that stuff.
Thought
could
it was very exotic,
Yeah, Canadian Mist.
Oh, for them,
Here you go.
it was something different and fun. I mean, they're just like they're stupid college kids. They just thought it was great.
That stuff could make Satan weep tears of like.
Yeah, for real.
just-
I'm sure they were 21,
Oh.
22 years old, just barely starting their drinking life, and it's like, here, guys, have a good time. It was pretty
Good
fun.
man. Well done. You done them a favor. I think when we were that age, we would have been absolutely delighted as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure at that age, I'd be thrilled to get a 175 of anything. It wouldn't matter what it was. I'm like,
that
oh,
age,
it's free.
At that age, I was already drinking Bushmills 10. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was
we
probably
were,
tasted
but
better
most people were
before.
not.
yeah.
Oh
So
dear.
Black Velvet is the #1 seller in Iowa. Oh,
yeah, well, it's like
Ugh.
Crown Royal in Texas. You guys.
Oh yeah, okay, so most states will have like an end cap or whatever of Crown Royal. In Texas, we literally have an aisle of Crown Royal.
Yeah,
It's insane.
and then you made your own rip-off version of it called
Oh, and
Texas
it's
Crown.
terrible.
No way.
Yeah,
There you go.
they even
Yeah,
include
it's
a
called was it Texas Gold or something? It's terrible.
Texas
Which one
Crown,
tastes
isn't it?
worse?
Texas Crown. That's it. Texas
Which
Crown.
one's worst? Flavor wise.
I think the worst is the maple flavored Crown is the worst. That or the Texas Mesquite, which just tastes to me like drinking lighter fluid.
The war has started.
It's nasty.
No,
Other than, like my brother sent me. It's funny. My brother sent me a text the other day. He's like, "Hey, have you had this Texas Mesquite Crown?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's awful." Other people said they were like it. I'm like, "Well, they're wrong. It's disgusting."
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with them. There must be broken because it's horrible.
the only good Crown, honestly, is the hand-selected barrel, and then if you could find some of the old Waterloo.
Oh
sour
yeah, the old red
releases.
box. Oh yeah, that's good
Yeah.
shit.
Those are the two.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You got me in the mood for a beer, man.
Beer's good too. We like beer.
Yeah.
Especially good Irish beer is always fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. You can't beat Guinness in fairness.
Yeah, you really can't. Yeah, Guinness and Black and Tan can't beat that.
You can't beat the black and tans.
Yeah, because we were in
Unless you do. Unless
in
you do.
was it Charleston, South Carolina earlier this summer, and I went to a really nice Irish pub there. Food was really good, but also had a lot of nice drinks, and had a nice Black and Tan. That was fabulous.
Oh, it is a lovely one. A lovely one. Man, I'm going to have to bounce. I have to put the child to bed.
I understand completely. Well, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it. This was a blast.
We're going
is
to touch base again. Maybe we'll do a wee potching run.
Yeah, I would love to do one just about that. That'd be fabulous.
And maybe we'll do a bottle share. I don't know if you guys are like.
I would be
we'll
happy
get
to
some
send you a
samples.
bunch of stuff, and maybe we can get some Texas whiskeys or Texas wines, and get you guys to finish something. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
maybe some of your listeners might want to join in too. We can split up a bottle and go around.
Oh, absolutely! I think we definitely could do that.
Let's do it that way too. And I could get a few guys from this side of the pond as well.
Yep.
And do a share, and we'll all just pile on here and have fun.
Sounds great to me. That'd be fun.
Right, it's a deal.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We will see you soon. Cheers, everybody. This was a fantastic stream. We'll see you soon. Cheers, everyone. Night.